what is going on inside the organization. And I'm just looking at your faces and I'm thinking, how much time do we have? Because I'm really worried about the content in terms of how much I can get away with. But perhaps you guys don't want to need to get away with anything, right?
You need to include snakes, lions, and whatnot.
Which one? So, Margaret, are you here? This is the organization. This is the organization. So when you're doing the situation analysis, I need you to pay attention because I'm only going to take 5 minutes. I'm going to give you everything you need to know about situation analysis. So situation analysis is you are analyzing or finding out what is going on within the organization, internal analysis, and then you do external analysis. Now, the external analysis is divided into two parts. The micro environment, yes or no?
Yeah.
And the macro, like the smaller and the bigger. Macro environment. Now, this one here, the micro environment is what we refer to as the industry. So somebody says things are a little bit difficult in the industry. That's the micro environment. And then these are wider external uncontrollable factors. So when you're doing the situation analysis, there are three components that you're going to analyze. You're going to analyze what is going on inside the organization. Then you're going to analyze what's going on outside the organization. Two of the rings constitute the outside. Inside the organization is the only one that we call internal. What tools are we going to use? We are going to use tools here like McKinsey 7S model. McKinsey 7S model. We can also use another tool called the Balanced Scorecard 1991 by Kaplan and Norton. The Balanced Scorecard. The Balanced Scorecard by Kaplan and Norton. That's another tool. Tool number one. Tool number two. You can also use another model called the BCG matrix. These are the tools that you use to analyze the internal environment. The internal. These are the tools. To analyze the micro environment, we use Porter's 5 forces analysis. 5 forces analysis. What else? And finally, to analyze the macro environment, we use pestle analysis. Pestle analysis. You're going to have to go and read up on these tools and come back and ask me questions next week. Because if I try to teach you this, we'll be here till 6 o'clock. Everybody did that. Some of you would have done.
Yeah.
But not everybody.
I think who studied here and the business and marketing with this.
Okay. How many have not seen any of these models before? No shyness here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. So it's about half of you. No problem.
Or
Can you read the second? Yeah.
B to the A max.
Close.
That's it.
Below.
Assignments.
Balance.
McKinsey.
No, McKinsey. Okay, balance.
7S.
No.
Balance
After that,
treatment.
This one.
balance. Yeah.
The balanced
Balance.
scorecard. That's a
Ah.
C. The balanced scorecard. Something that say balanced scorecard. Don't do that. It's balanced.
Balance.
Balanced.
Balance.
Not balanced scorecard.
Balance.
Okay. Have you guys heard of something called SWOT?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is SWOT analysis, SWOT analysis. The summary of all this is called a SWOT. The summary of the analysis is known as a SWOT.
Oh, bro, you delete it.
Hmm?
You delete the last screen.
I'll come back to it.
Okay.
The summary of the analysis. Look at it. Analysis. Is. Plural of analysis. One analysis, two analyses.
Plural.
You got it? One analysis, I. Two analyses. Is. Summary of the analysis. The reason why I said analysis plural is macro environment analysis, micro environment analysis, internal analysis. You summarize all the three plural analyses to give you SWOT. Then you take the SWOT to a meeting and you do a SWOT analysis. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then after you do the SWOT, am I allowed to say after the SWOT analysis, then you know the key issues that you need to address?
Yeah.
That's how it works. Okay, I want to go back.
Yeah, please. Thank you. A minute. Mr. Chris.
We all know what SWOT is.
Strength, weakness, opportunity, threat.
Yes.
Is it?
Is it?
I didn't know that. Okay, so
What is SWOT?
Strange
strength.
opportunities.
No. W.
W. Weaknesses.
Strength is the W.
Weakness.
Weaknesses.
Weaknesses. Weak. That's it. Weak. You're weak. You're tired. Weaknesses. Then what's the next one?
Opportunities.
Opportunity.
And threats.
Trends.
Trends.
Threats.
Threat, like you are frightened.
Yeah. Threat.
It's like when you went to school, the bad boy in the class always says, "I'll beat you after school." That's a threat.
I saw you referring to. No, wait.
No? You didn't have any bad boys in school.
No,
I haven't had that situation.
I have a sad story to tell you. So please don't tell anybody. When I was about 10 years old, 3 girls in the class threatened to beat me after school. Girls.
Yeah, that's
So I ran away.
with the worst.
So
Well,
it's such an embarrassing thing. I don't like telling this story, but
What's very easy?
but
There's 3 towards 1. That's unfair advantage.
sorry. Threats. Because apparently one of them went and told them that I said she was my girlfriend. The other one also went and told them that I said she was my girlfriend. The other one also, so the 3 of them decided that since none of us is the girlfriend, let's kill me.
Nice analysis.
So they wanted to, I had to run away home and report to my mother that 3 girls wanted to kill me.
What did she say?
I don't like telling this story, it's embarrassing.
3 billion girl.
Opportunities and threats. I mean, can you imagine a strong village boy like The three girls nearly killed me. Alright, so
I would give them some bananas.
so this will be so. Let's say the organization is writing a marketing plan. The first stage of the marketing plan, they need to know everything that's happening around them, both inside the organization and outside the organization. When they have that really good understanding, they will then be able to move forward to the next stage of the plan. And to do the analysis, these are tools that you find in most textbooks, and they're online, they're videos. Go and watch them and come back and ask me questions. But I'm going to go through them with you. The macro environment, we start from the outside, work our way in. The macro environment is a wider environment. Most of these things are not, the organization cannot control these factors. But there are factors happening in the environment that the organization needs to know about as part of the analysis. Where are we now as a company and how did we get there? So P stands for political. The political environment, economic environment, sociological. People say social, don't do it. Sociological. Political, economic, sociological. Which T is for technological, L legal, and E
Economic.
environmental or ecological. I think ecological is better than environmental, in my opinion.
What's the S for?
The S sociological. Like what is happening in society now? How do you think society has changed a lot since maybe the early days before I was born? Yeah. I think women have become more prominent in society. Women are more respected. In the old days, women were like second-class citizens. That has changed a lot in the world today.
Not in countries like USA and Poland. Unfortunately.
USA? Are you serious? The USA women are very strong in the USA.
Well,
Strongest in the world.
what Trump is doing now is like in many states, they basically have no rights to make decisions about their bodies. So I don't.
No.
I think that it's not way to
No,
go.
well, I think what Trump is saying is this: it's complicated. It will make life complicated. Can you imagine for administrative purposes, and you say you have 300 genders or unlimited number of genders? He says it's going to be difficult to run the country. I think people should have the right to do whatever they want, but the government has to have policy to make administration possible. Otherwise, you may not be able to administer. That's a problem.
But you abolished abortions as well.
They didn't. They can't abolish abortion. Abortion was abolished by the law. Roe versus Wade. It's a high court. It's not a presidential thing. It is a high court.
It's changed in many countries.
No, yeah, but it's a court. It's the court that takes the decision. If the court decides, fine, it's the court. So that's not in its power to do that. Can't do that.
But he's making it up.
But it's interesting what you're saying. That is a sociological issue, like attitudes towards abortion, for example. That is a sociological issue, yeah? And also, one of the things about sociological issues, are you guys aware that there's now the increase of one-person households? There are more households now where when you open the door, only one person lives there.
Yes,
There's been a dramatic increase in one-person household. Another sociological change that's happening in the world is that women are not having many children now. The average birth rate for Caucasian women in the developing world is 1.4.
It's too expensive to have kids these days, so we're not really supporting.
But some ethnic groups like the Muslims and the people from Middle East, when they have 7 children, 8 children.
Mm-hmm.
So there's also that sociological shift. So you're having the birth rates for certain ethnic groups is higher than some ethnic groups. That's also very interesting.
It's in our country as well.
Yeah.
We have like minority ethnic women, they're on benefits.
Seriously?
So the more kids they have, the Czech Republic. We have gypsies there.
Oh, you still have gypsies? They came from where? Romania? Or just you have your own gypsies?
Yeah, they're like mixed. I don't know.
Yeah, also mixed. Because there's one Indian. Because you know some gypsies have Indian heritage. So migrated
they
out.
might be. They like darker skin, but
Darker
I
skin.
don't wanna like put it this way. But yeah.
Yeah.
They
Well,
they
fine.
look different. different. They have their own language,
They have their own culture.
culture, yeah, and they don't go to school and they basically live off the benefits because the more kids they have, the more money they get. And they got kids really, really early, like very, very
16 years old, they've already
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
How
even
you know?
younger. They'll have rabbits.
And then they live in their own communes.
Yeah.
Almost.
Sorry, Chris.
Um,
One.
Hmm?
You can explain a little bit the BCA matrix, please, because
come to that.
I never see before. Okay.
I'll come to that.
Okay.
So political factors are things like what the government in power and the ideology. Yeah, the politics of the country. The E is economics. We have high interest rates, high inflation, low economic growth, high economic growth, those things here. Technology, you know already. How is technology evolving that the organization needs to pay attention to? These things are all things the organization needs to open its eyes and pay attention to. We're not analyzing it because we're doing it's an exercise. These are real things the organization needs to be aware of. When we go to our meetings, we need to discuss these things because it will affect our strategy for the future, the way the world is changing. Legal things. One of the big legal issues now is about data protection.
Yeah.
Organizations are really struggling with the new data protection regulation, the European directive, with very harsh penalties for organizations that fail to protect the data of their customers. That's a legal issue. And then environmental or ecological. That is, you know about green issues, global warming, saving the planet, how we use water, air pollution, diesel, petrol, all these fossil fuels, all these kind of trees, tree planting, and all these kind of that's environmental issues. So the organization, you ask but everybody in my class, listen very carefully. The macro environmental factors cannot be changed by the organization. You can't change them, you can't control them. You just need to be aware of them and adjust your strategy accordingly. You cannot change these things. Environmental issues also sometimes related to weather, flooding, and forest fires and stuff like that.
Natural calamities.
Say that again.
Natural calamities.
Earthquakes, yeah.
Yeah, natural calamities. But because you know there's some parts of the world that are more prone to these things. So if you decide to for example, if you want to do international marketing, you decide to go to certain countries, be aware of some of these challenges that you may have to face. So these ones you can't influence, but these ones you can influence. Okay? When we talk about Porter's 5 forces, we're talking about these forces. The bargaining power of buyers. The bargaining power of buyers. Second, the bargaining power of suppliers. Yes or no? Who knows this things? Help me out.
Yeah. Threat of new entrants.
The threat of new entrants.
And
The threat of new entrants into what?
Market.
To the industry. Everything here is about the industry. But threat of new entrants. So these Porter's 5 forces. Michael Porter wrote a book in 1985 entitled Competitive Advantage. In that book, it talks about these things. So this is Porter's 5 forces. Porter's 5 forces is analysis of the industry, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget that. If you forget that, you're leaving you behind. Analysis of the industry. So if Vodafone does Porter's 5 forces, they will do an analysis of the telecommunications industry. Yes or no? If Anglo Ruskin University does the Porter's 5 forces, they will do the Porter's 5 forces. They will do analysis of which industry? If Anglo Ruskin University, they will do the analysis of which industry?
Education.
Higher education industry, right? And so on. The pharmacy, who wants to know how business is going to look like in the next 5 years, they will do an analysis of which industry?
Agriculture.
Pharmaceutical. Pharmaceutical. If you're a rice, you supply rice, then you look at the agricultural.
I thought you said farmers.
Okay. Yeah. So remember the Porter's 5 forces. It's all about the threat of new entrants. Which one else were we going to do? The threat of which one?
Substitute.
Well done. In your original Porter's book, it talks about the threat of subs. Can I even spell the substitute?
S-U-B.
Please don't laugh at me, okay?
It's fine.
Threat of substitute to you to. So the threat of substitute means, is it possible? Okay, see what the threat of substitute have done to the motor car industry. Yeah? Ford, General Motors, Volkswagen, they're all producing petrol cars, petrol engines, developing more advanced petrol engines. They woke up one morning, the threat of substitute, the product that they've been making money for the last 80 years, has been substituted, has been replaced by another product called the what car? Electric car. Electric car. So be very careful. If you're in the village and you have a technology and you're enjoying, it doesn't mean that you will always be the champion of the village. Yes or no? Because tomorrow morning somebody is going to come into the village with a new technology. Yes or no?
Yes.
All the villagers will leave you and they go and follow him. Then you see that say, what have I done to you villagers? They said, you got left behind.
The
There was
myopy,
a threat of substitute. You have been substituted.
the myopy of
Marketing myopia.
the marketing myopia. Yeah,
Yeah.
they explain there.
You enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I want you to read that article again. It's one of my favorite articles. I give it to all my master students to read it. But it's such a great thing. And to think that Theodore Levy, 65 years ago,
It's timeless.
he saw today.
the
And the
electric
principles
car.
work all the time.
1960.
Yeah, 1960. Yeah. Are you shocked that he wrote an article like that in 1960? It was published in the Harvard Business Review. It took the nation, the world by storm. Some people noticed it and took note. Others ignored it, and it caught up with them in the 1980s. So they went back in the 1980s to look at Levitt, and they went. So 1980s, up to 20,000, 2000.
2025.
And then 2025, we're reading it and we're going, Levitt.
He was foreseeing the future.
All right. So finally, the level of competitive rivalry. The level of competitive rivalry. Don't forget, the level of competitive rivalry. And master student, there's something I want to tell you. Never forget this, okay? Have you noticed that when I'm teaching you, every now and then I stop and I say, I'm going to tell you something, never forget. This is how you guys are going to be great managers and directors. Wherever you enter an industry and competition is high, your costs will be high. Your cost of operating in an industry where the competitive rivalry is high will be high. So if you enter an industry where there's a lot of competition, and can I add something else? Watch this. If you enter an industry where the level of competition is high, and I'm about to tell you something, bombshell, don't forget. You enter an industry where the level of competition is high, watch this. And the competitors are all very similar. That is the most difficult. An example is the mobile phone market. You look at EE, Vodafone, 3. Everything about them, every one of them is exactly the same.
O2.
They all sell O2, they all sell iPhone and Samsung. They all do £10, unlimited minutes, so many calls, blah, blah, blah. They use the same infrastructure. The business model is exactly the same. They're all targeting exactly the same customers. And the cost of switching is low. How do you make money in such a market? It's a cutthroat market. You're always looking for small differences.
Yeah.
and then you're always operating on very small margins. The profit margins are always very low, so you survive on volume. You understand? You need more customers because your profit margin is very low. How much money does Vodafone make if they charge you £20 a month? How much money do they make? The license cost to get a license from the government to operate a mobile phone network in the United Kingdom, how much do you have to pay? How much do you think a license? You come into the UK and say, I want to start a new mobile phone network from scratch. I don't want to use anybody's satellites. I don't want to use it from scratch. And you want a license from this government. How much is the license fee?
2-3 billion.
Correct. How did you know that?
How much?
You always talk about billion.
Good answer, man.
Yes. Yes.
You're 100% spot on.
3 billion.
Two to 2.5 billion is the license if you want to open a mobile phone network in the United Kingdom. You have to go to Ofcom, apply, make an application to the Ofcom. The application is like this fat, and you have to pay a lot of lawyers, write a long thing, and to scrutinize it. They will drive you around the block for about 3 years,
Wow.
and then eventually they'll say, "Do you have 2.5 billion?" Then they take the 2.5 billion, then they give you a license to set up shop and start operating in the UK with a new network. So because of that, can I say that there are barriers to entry? There are barriers to entering the mobile phone market. Yes or no? Is there a barrier to entry?
Yeah.
Can everybody wake up in the morning and say, I want to do what?
No.
Because of the level of investment required. And the 2 billion is only for licenses. You haven't started putting mobile phone masts on buildings yet. You haven't started laying infrastructure. You haven't started opening shops. You haven't started appointing staff. So by the time you start, your startup costs are approaching somewhere near 10 billion pounds sterling before you can run a mobile phone. So you analyze the industry. Porters 546 here, you're doing the micro environment analysis. And let's look at the other forces there. So the bargaining power of buyers, how much power do buyers of mobile telephony services in the UK, how much bargaining power do they have? Will you say they have strong bargaining power or weak bargaining power?
Strong.
Why? You're right. But why?
More competition.
It's easy to switch.
Yeah.
Before, they made it difficult to switch. Then the government brought in a law that if I'm switching from O2 to EE, O2 has to transfer my account and my, there is a particular PIN number that they use. They have to give it to EE
The PUK.
within 24 hours. Yeah, the PUK code, they have to transfer it to EE within 24 hours. Before, you had to wait like weeks. And they would delay you because they want to hold on to. So switching costs are very low. If EE annoys me, I walk into Vodafone shop tomorrow and I come out with a contract. No problem. With my same phone. So what about the bargaining power of the suppliers like Vodafone and EE? Do they have any bargaining power at all? The bargaining power is weak, right? Because they can't hold on to you. They don't have anything to hold on to you to say we cannot let you leave. What do they have? Nothing. So the bargaining power of suppliers in the mobile telecoms industry is very low. I think it's going to be the same with supermarkets as well in this country. Okay. But can you find me an example in this country where the bargaining power of buyers is low and the bargaining power of suppliers is high? Which industry do you think is the case?
How is this? You can repeat the question again?
Communications.
No, we didn't do the communication. With the communication, it's easy to switch. So the buyers bargaining power is high,
Retail.
and the suppliers bargaining power is low. Retail.
Transport.
Which one? Which retail?
Uber?
Or food retail or clothing?
I was thinking clothing.
All right. Yeah. Explain.
So the bargaining power of buyers it's high for the clothing retail.
The bargaining power of the suppliers, who are the H&M, the Primark, the Marks and Spencer, the ASOS.
Which is it's still high.
Their bargaining power is low because we can switch easily. Very little to hold on to you. Say you belong to me. I won't let you go to Primark. You can't do that. You can go whenever you want.
Bank.
Hmm?
Bank.
Banks. Good one. Do you think the bargaining power of banks is it low or high?
The income.
They control us, don't they?
That's still quite a few banks you can choose from.
Yeah, but these days banks can say we don't want you anymore and they kick you out and they close your account.
And they can also seize.
It happened to Niger Farah.
They can also seize your account.
If they feel that
Yeah.
you're doing something funny, they can put a block on your account. So it looks like
So
the banks are the suppliers of financial services. And we are the bank. But what about if you look at insurance? Which is also financial services. What about the power of insurance suppliers? Not very high. You can leave them anytime, you switch. And you go there and transfer the whole thing. Credit card companies, bargaining power is low.
And
You
the
can
rate
change
is-
credit card
If you want to buy cars or
anything.
Do they? Usually it's annual subscription, so it's not like you can move that
Are you
easily.
forgetting the electricity companies and the water companies
oh yeah, yes.
and the transport companies? There's no supply. Do you think the bargaining power is high or low?
New ones.
If you decide not to buy water from them, why are you going to buy water? Who's going to supply you water?
Because it's essential.
It's essential goods. The only thing the government tried to bring some competition into it by saying private companies can now become water suppliers. And private companies can become electric suppliers. So they kind of deregulated. It's called deregulation. They deregulated the market, trying to bring income. So in most Western economies, the government tried to intervene by deregulating the market to give access to the monopolies like water companies, electricity companies, and so on. So depending on the industry that you're in, you have to weigh this thing up. Why is it important? Well, if you go, it depends on whether you're going into the industry as a buyer or you're going into the industry as a supplier. That will give you an idea how much competition you're going to have to deal with. Yeah.
What about Google?
Oh, Google. What do you think the bargaining power of Google is? Super high. Because if you don't do Google, there's no which competition. Who is competing with Google? In the early years when the internet came in the 1990s, there were companies like Alta Vista, Ask Jeeves, they didn't last long.
Bing.
Bing is Microsoft, but Microsoft can afford to have Bing because it's a big company. But how many people actually use Bing? Then they try to force you
only to put Google.
inside the Bing.
Yeah.
Is that not so sad?
Yeah.
All right. So the threat of new entrants here is important. The threat that a company that was not in the industry might wake up one morning and come into the industry and cause trouble. Like Uber came into the taxi industry of the United Kingdom and just blew everything completely out of the box. So when you wake up every morning, you're always thinking about the threat of new entrants. Somebody who was not in the industry suddenly coming in and causing trouble. Then you have the threat of substitute products that we were not selling in our industry suddenly come in and completely wipe out our product. I think the threat of substitute is going to be petrol and diesel. Petrol and diesel as fuel will be substituted within the next 20 years. So nobody's going to be investing in new technologies for petrol and diesel anymore. Because
Everything is now electric.
things are going electric. So that's called substitute products. Another product, batteries replacing petrol and diesel. Nobody thought that was going to happen. But lo and behold, that's called the threat. So even the battery people, the battery guys, they should always wake up every morning and being afraid that even the batteries could be replaced by something else that we don't know. But I know a company has successfully produced a nuclear fission gadget. Nuclear fission, the size of this cup, your little cup here, and you can put it in a car. You can power the car for like 20 or 30 years. You never have to buy fuel. It's a nuclear reactor. Yeah. And they're working on making nuclear reactors as small as this. And you can put it in aeroplanes, you can put them in helicopters, you can put them in cars. And that will completely wipe out batteries. That's called the threat of substitute.
What is the sample?
Huh?
What example you say?
The there is an organization that's creating nuclear reactors the size of this.
Mm-hmm.
And you can put it in your car and you can drive your car for 50 years. No fuel, no petrol, no charging, no electricity, no plugging, nothing. The nuclear reactor will slowly react and release the energy to drive the car.
With the oil or something.
No. I don't know how they're going to do it. Probably it's going to turn an electric motor. The electricity from the nuclear reactor will power an electric motor and drive the wheels of the car. That's it. Just press a button, you're gone. Forever. No petrol, no charging, nothing. It's coming.
When?
Very soon.
With it.
They've manufactured it already.
Yeah.
I think they're making it from a reactor called thorium. So there you go. Have you understood Potter's 5 forces? All right. I know I'm teaching it at this late hour, but let's do our best. So we've understood that one. We've understood that one. Then we're coming to this point where they're asking me, McKinsey's, these tools, McKinsey 7S. McKinsey 7S model is a model that was created by the McKinsey Corporation and is used by organizations to analyze the organization itself. 7S strategy, the structures, the strategy, the systems, and so on. Yeah. So, internal analysis. Then the other one, the balance scorecard. This one was developed by Kaplan and Norton in 1991. And the Kaplan and Norton, the reason why they said balance, listen very carefully, don't forget this. They said most of the time when organizations want to find out whether they're doing well or they're not doing well, they look at their financial performance only. How much sales, how much profit, and that's it. And then Kaplan and Norton in 1991 said that cannot be correct. You just can't look at one aspect of performance. Listen, you have to take a more balanced approach. So by all means, look at the financial performance of the organization, it's important. But look also at your relationship with customers. Okay? And also look at your internal systems and processes as well. Okay? And he also said that you should also look at your innovation and learning. So 4 areas. And the reason why it's a scorecard is you look at those 4 areas and you score, the organization will score itself out of 100 in those 4 areas. Though the financial analysis is there, but it's only one aspect. You have to look at the other 3 aspects as well. Your relationship with customers, your internal processes, and your innovation, in addition to financial. That's the balance scorecard, a couple of notes in 1991. So if you are assessing the performance of the organization that way, and you are not just focusing on the financial performance, then you are taking a what? A balanced approach. You are looking at so many other factors in addition to financial performance. That's why they call it the balance scorecard. You're scoring like a report card. How are we doing on innovation? We score ourselves 7 out of 10. How are we doing in our relationship with customers? We score ourselves 6 out of 10. How are we doing with innovation? Score ourselves 5 out of 10. How are we doing with financial measures? Score ourselves 8 out of 10. Then we have a meeting and we look at why we are not performing well in other areas and we take steps to correct that. So those are the tools. Then come to the BCG matrix. The BCG matrix is a tool that was developed by the Boston Consulting Group. And it's a model that is designed, it's a model that is designed to, what is it designed to?
It's a tool developed by a consultant.
Is BCA or BCG?
Actually, because of
Metrics
You look at your portfolio,
Hey.
the product portfolio, that's a portfolio matrix, right?
Matrix
That was called a
is
portfolio
help
matrix.
Operations to analyze their business units. That is the correct one.
Yeah. So
That's all correct.
let's say if you have a university like this, you can look at your business units like undergraduate courses, postgraduate courses, foundation courses. Each one is called a business unit. The undergraduate department is a business unit. Postgraduate is a business unit. Foundation courses are business units. So they're called strategic business units or SBUs. So what you do is when you're doing your internal analysis, you look at your various components of the business and ask yourself which ones are doing well and which ones are not doing too well. But to teach you that, it's 45 minutes to 1 hour. So go and read them. So by the time you've done your internal analysis, you've done your industry analysis or micro analysis, and you've done your external or macro environmental, you've now finished complete situation analysis. What do? You have to write a summary in a table. That table summary of all the 3 analyses that you have done is called a SWOT. Then you go and have a board meeting and you do a SWOT analysis. This is where a lot of students get it wrong. They think a SWOT analysis is the same as the analysis that you do at the beginning. No. You already have the SWOT. You don't have a list of your strengths, a list of your weaknesses, a list of opportunities. Listen very carefully what a SWOT analysis is. We will look at the strengths and we will look at which ones of them are valuable enough that we can exploit to give us competitive advantage in the future. And then we put our resources on those. What about weaknesses? We look at our weakness. We have 10 weaknesses that have been listed. But we see that 7 of them are weaknesses, but they're not a big deal to our customers. Customers don't really care about those weaknesses. But there are 3 weaknesses that we have that are so dangerous. If we don't address those weaknesses, we'll go out of business. Then there's opportunities. 10 opportunities have been listed from our analysis summary. But of these 10 opportunities, really only 2 of them that we can exploit. The rest of the 8 are too expensive, rather unworkable. It's not worth the investment. So we're going to focus on only 2 opportunities. That's expanding to India and expanding to South America. We just focus on those 2 opportunities. And we forget about expanding to Europe, for example. It's an opportunity, but right now, Europe's market is saturated. We think the growth is in South America. The growth is in India. Okay? Then we come to the third one, is threats. So threats are usually coming from outside the organization. They're not inside. There are things happening outside the organization that we need to be aware of and plan for it so that one day it doesn't become a danger to it. See W.A. Smith. Why W.A. Smith going out of business in 2025? They should have closed down the stores when COVID happened. They shouldn't have opened the stores again after COVID. Because during COVID, we all went online. By the time we came back from COVID, everybody was shopping online. Nobody wanted to go to the shops anymore. We were all scared that somebody was going to spit in our faces and kill us. So we stayed at home and did Amazon in the middle of the night. Yes or no? Nobody was going to. So what W.A. Smith director should have been bold and written off their assets, sold their buildings, and pocket the profit and then disappear into Bahamas somewhere and go and buy an island and live there. Forget about it. But they went along and they burnt money for 5 years. Can you forgive these people? Can you forgive them? Or they should have taken the entire business online. Close down the building.
And what part of internal macro environment is this? Can I do this SWOT analysis? You can.
The SWOT analysis. The SWOT analysis. You finish the analysis and the summary.
Ah, okay.
This is a summary of the analysis. Don't confuse it.
Ah.
There's the summary. This SWOT analysis. The SWOT is a table. It's a summary.
Okay.
Of the micro environment analysis, macro environment analysis, internal analysis. You summarize everything. That's what you call a SWOT.
Okay, good to know, man.
All right? Because the analysis is about 176 pages. Nobody's going to read it. So you summarize everything onto one page in a table. List of strengths, list of weaknesses, list of opportunities. Then you take that to a meeting, ladies and gentlemen. It is in that meeting that you do a what? A SWOT analysis. A SWOT analysis is not the original micro environment. The SWOT, you have the SWOT, it's a summary. Take that summary to a meeting and discuss it. I just give you an example. We have 10 strengths, but I think we should focus on these 2 strengths and forget about the 8 because the 8 is not relevant. They are not relevant to customers. Now you're doing a SWOT analysis.
But and I want to know the order. What is first? The pest? No, we need
You
to
can
start.
do any of them first. That's one. The most important, you have to do all of them.
Yeah, but we
Do
need
all
to.
of, do the internal, do the micro, and then do the macro.
This is the order.
No, there's no order. In reality, we do them at the same time.
Ah, okay. Okay.
That's called a marketing audit. When you're doing a marketing audit, it takes about 3 to 6 months. So you're not going to say, I'm going to create the micro before I go to it. There's not like that. Different teams are working on different things at the same time.
Okay.
One team is doing the macro environment, another team, and 3 months later we all come together and we share our reports.
I ask this question because I don't know if we need to do this analysis for our writing assessment or presentation.
Learn it for your future.
Okay.
Because you come to marketing school, this is one of the most powerful tools you have in your hands. When you go into an organization, you become a director of the organization. You know how to do this. You're not going to pay a consultant a lot of money to do it. Because I remember an institute in central London invited me to do an audit. I only went in for 2 days. I charged them £1,500 a day, consultancy fee a day. So for the 2 days was £3,000. So if you want a consultant to do that kind of job, you have to pay a lot of money. You're a marketer. You are the expert. You know how to go and pay anybody. You do your own because you know how to do it, right? And all you have to do is just collect the data. You collect the data and you do it yourself. Has everybody understood the situation analysis? Did I warn you? See how long it took to teach situation analysis? It is the one that takes the most time when I'm teaching students marketing planning. So the situation analysis is that one. See how much time it took us. All the things that I was writing on the board is just this. The objective is the easy part. Because objective, you just write down bullet points. You remember I wrote something for you to increase market share in the ABC1 segment by 5% within 5 years. That's the objective. You just have to learn how to write objectives and keep them smart. Yeah. Strategy is a whole new ballgame. Let's see what else is on the slides anyway. Opportunities. Okay, have we done this already? Oh, we've done that already. Don't you think it was easier writing on the board, learning that without opening the slides? You'd have fallen asleep, right?
The BCA matrix, sorry to go back to that point, is internal or external or macro?
Internal, always. Right. The three tools I gave you for internal.
Yeah,
Remember?
the portfolio, strategy, business units.
Internal tools are which ones? What did you write down?
I have no much information on BCA matrix.
BCG matrix?
Yeah.
No, but let's mean the tools you wrote down for internal. I just want to know.
A tool developed by a consultant.
No.
I have no.
Which tools do you write down for internal analysis? I will give you 3. Which ones? McKinsey 7S.
Pestle.
Okay.
No. Who's the person? Stop. Internal.
Internal.
Yeah. Internal ones for which one?
McKinsey
7S.
Balance scorecard.
Balanced scorecard. And the third one was?
No, BCI metrics. BCI metrics. BCG? It's G. Man, this guy is right. Man, I don't understand the letter.
My eyes are not as good as yours.
Show me the G. It's A.
No, it was G.
I told you, it's G or it's A?
I told you A. I told you G.
You tell me, I don't know.
Boston Consultancy Group.
It's difficult to discuss with 1, 2, 3, 4 girls. It's impossible. Okay, it's my mistake, ladies.
Beat you to it.
Yeah.
And the third one is?
BCG. Huh. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
This is Boston Consulting Group.
Looking. For you, this is G or A?
I can't see it.
For me, it's A, not G, but
But yeah, it stands for Business Consultancy Group. So it's
yeah, I understand A. Yeah, look.
No, key issues.
This is A for me.
It's not clear.
Depend.
Funky G.
Because this one here
Yeah,
is
it's
not part of
BCG.
this. This is
BCG.
a
Ah.
summary of
Boston
this
Consultancy Group.
is a summary of all this. This. When you summarize it, it says this.
All right. Perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I don't remember. that.
situation analysis objectives. All you need is that they need to be smart. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now let's go to strategy and tactics. That's my helicopter. Yeah. The strategic view and the tactics are which one? The tactics are okay. They didn't do the count. Okay. So the strategy. The strategy means you take a broad approach. What strategy means? How are we going to do it? And I'll give you examples. There's a broad way of looking at it, or the step-by-step way of looking at it. The broad overall way, I said, go to Heathrow by Uber. That's the strategy. Yeah. And the tactics will be step by step. Turn left, turn right, turn left, turn right, turn left, turn right. When you get to the banana tree, stop, buy a banana, and continue for 1 mile.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Then you get to the guava tree, stop, buy guava, and continue for 2. Yes or no? When you get to where the monkey is, ask the monkey to give you peanuts. 5 minutes, stay 5 minutes, and continue. Yes or no? Now we're doing what? Tactics.
Monkey's not sharing. Monkey's not taking.
So strategy is. Who remember the question for strategy? How
The report
How are
is
we
How
going to be there?
are we going to get there?
Which way is best?
I have a question. Where did we miss objectives?
You're guessing.
We had after situation analysis. We had.
Then the next one is objectives. So objectives, where are we going?
Yeah.
And we wrote. You remember when I gave you an example to increase market share by 5% within 5 years?
Yeah.
That's an objective.
Yeah, and they have to be smart.
Objectives are very simple. You don't have to write a long story. And let me tell you one big mistake I don't want any of you to make. Listen very carefully. Look me in the eye. Whenever you write objective, do not, under any circumstances, say to be achieved through. Near. I don't want to know to be achieved through. Just list the objectives for me. Sure, stop. Don't go any further. Because how they're going to be achieved will be a different topic. Strategy.
also in the objective paragraph.
You just bullet points.
Just bullet points.
The bullet points are objective, and that's it.
And
Nothing more.
we made those objectives by analyzing.
Based on what we discovered in the analysis, now we know what the key issues are. We know what the real problems are. Yeah?
Yeah.
And you wrote the key issue.
Yeah.
Because when we finish the SWOT analysis, now we know that the key issue is that we need to invest in IT infrastructure, because if we don't have IT infrastructure going into the year 2030, well, our competitors will leave us behind. Right? So now we come and write our objective and to say to increase the power of our IT infrastructure by 90% within 1 year. We're setting that objective because of the analysis that made us discover that we're not ready for the AI future. Our systems are still 1990 systems. How are we going to compete? So it's urgent for us to quickly, but that will be in the strategy. So the objective will be to increase our IT capacity by 90%, right? That's the objective. But don't say how you're going to do it, because how you're going to do it is going to be here. How are we going to get there, and which way is best? The reason why we say which way is best is that there are always strategic alternatives. We can either buy the IT, or we can lease the IT, or we can use cloud computing services. And we'll not buy any new computers at all. We just keep the workstations like these simple computers, but all our activities will be connected to Monday.com or to some other cloud service, and we grow the business that way. That way, there are no bottlenecks to slow us down. But remember, the strategies are strategic choice. We could either buy the computers, lease the computers, or use cloud services. Yes or no? So which way is best?
To use the cloud because
No, we have to have a board meeting.
Ah.
Then we hear from everybody's opinion. Because what advantages are there for cloud services? All your critical infrastructure is in somebody's house. Yes or no?
Yep.
If that person's house is burned down, your business is finished.
If internet doesn't work, you can't access it.
Is that right?
If internet doesn't work, you can't access
You
it.
can't access it. If the internet goes down, your business is finished. So when we have the board meeting, everybody will bring their opinion. Then we have a big fight in the board meeting. Then when we finish, we agree that
We disagree
the-
to agree.
then some people might say it would have been better for us to have our own infrastructure without using it. But to do it, we need to invest 2.5 billion. We don't have the money. So our strategy is in year 1 to 3, let's use cloud services, but let's be saving up money so that in year 4 to 5 we can buy our own systems. That is strategy. Okay, that's how it works. So don't confuse, don't add the strategy to the objectives. Leave the objectives alone. Objective 1, objective 2, 3, 4, and 5. Stop. Don't say to be achieved by. I don't know which people teach students like that. You don't say how. This is under different topic strategy here. This one here. Now we're going to talk about which options are there and which way is best. Okay. There's so many different strategies, like strategic business units. Remember we saw them with the BCG matrix. I'll give you an example that postgraduate is a strategic business unit for the university. Undergraduate is a strategic business unit. Foundation is a strategic business unit. You can also make the courses as strategic business unit. Health and social care is strategic business unit. BSc with law. MA with social care. Social care with animal care. Animal care with insect care. Insect care with rabbit care. All these different courses are different strategic business units. Yeah. So they will have a different strategy for each one.
Can you please go back to the chart? I want to take a picture.
Which chart is it?
The SC
So start.
You like it? No, you already have it in the PowerPoint. It's in your PowerPoint notes.
It's a really
So the example that you
Well, you
gave,
can take a picture of it if it will make you happy. I don't want you to go home annoyed. The lecturer refused to allow me to take a picture.
so the sample that we use
Might be
with
taking a
market
picture of-
share in the UK food retail business ABC1 by 5% within 5 years. It's
That's
a
an objective.
strategy.
That's
Yes.
an objective.
Objective.
That's an
Okay.
objective.
Yes.
Because it answers the question,
It's smart.
is
Sorry.
it smart? What do you think?
When the sample which is playing.
Do I look tired? In my head. The other time when I was recording the video and I went to watch it, I realized that all my hair is gone. I said, why did my hair fall off and I didn't even notice? So since then, I decided not to watch any of the videos that I recorded. I wanted to cry. I said, oh my God, my hair is gone.
You should look in the mirror, that's all.
I'm scared of the mirror now. Because my hair is finishing. So when I'm passing by the mirror, I'm like,
Who is that?
all right. I think you've had enough. I can't really teach you strategy. I'll teach you when I see you there.
I just don't understand why we have to know about the strategic units.
Thank you.
The reason is that sometimes you have different businesses within the organization, right? You have different businesses, and you find that each of those businesses is totally different from the others. So sometimes you need to have a separate strategy for each of the business units. That's one. Yeah? Okay, let's say you're a supermarket, right?
Yeah.
You have bakery section.
Yeah.
Bakery, bread and cakes. That's a different business unit. You can treat it like that. Then you have a little pharmacy in the store. That makes you some money. That's a little business unit. Then you have fresh foods. That's a different business unit. Then you have packaged foods. Then you have household. You can treat each one of those departments, and each one of them can have a separate strategy.
And each one of them has a different
Objectives.
situation analysis.
Everything. So sometimes life can be complex like that. Well, if you have a big business where you have so many different units, yeah, Okay, a hospital can have different units: heart department, liver department, orthopedic department, maternity department, pediatrics department. And each of these can be treated as a different, each one of them has got its own director of each one. And the pediatric department's strategy can be totally different from the heart surgery, but they can be in a completely different building, but in the same hospital. So it's really good sometimes to think. The reason why we call them strategic business units, it means they have their own strategy. And the business is unique, different from all other businesses. They have their own objective, they have their own separate budget as well. And they have their own separate director.
Right.
So when you have a business like that where there's if you're running a hospital, you're a private hospital. It's a complex business. You have to the Monday you meet the orthopedic director, on Tuesday you meet the pediatric director or their team. And you have to ask how each one of them is doing, whether each one of them have different problems you need to solve, whether some of them need more money, they need more equipment. One of them needs an MRI scan, is 2.5 million. You have to go to the bank and find 2.5 million to buy MRI scan for the orthopedic department. So you got to run each business as a separate business. So we call each business is called a strategic business unit because each one has got its own strategy, its own management, its own plan, something.
And that's in the strategy.
Absolutely.
Chris, BCG,
BCG metric.
BCG is metric is
Boston.
what does it mean?
Boston
Boston, Boston Consulting Group.
And they have things like cash cow, stars, dogs, question marks. Have you heard of these things before?
Yeah,
You want me to teach you?
Huh?
You want me to teach you? You
A little bit about this, yeah.
Go and read about it and come back. My brain is finished. I haven't got any more brain left.
I read
Anything you say from this point onwards, I will not understand.
Oh yes, thank you.
You can go home to your parents now or your children. Thank you for coming to school. Hopefully week 3, when I come and your brains are fresh in the morning, we can look at the assignment in detail.
Yeah,
I will skip a lot of the stuff, give you the assignment, then teach you the assignment. So by the time I finish teaching you the assignment, I will teach you some of this stuff. I'm trying to kill 2 or 3 birds with one stone. All right. There's so much to teach you. Have you noticed there's so much to teach?
Yeah, there's so much.
Even my head is swollen. Thank you for coming to school. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Chris.